Hello everybody, this is Joe Cross, CEO and founder of OM International, also the author of The Weapons of Mass Production. If you're listening to this video or watching this video, it's because you have opted in and asked for a free video and you wanted to know about 14 things that every entrepreneur needs to know. Now, for some of you guys that know me, you know I started my first business at 22. I was fired from a job that I was making about $40,000 a year gross, and when you get fired from a job like that, you start to think of other options and other things you can do in life, so I became an entrepreneur. Started my first business as a safety salesman selling fire extinguishers door to door, eventually had my own distributorship, and eventually became the VP and owned a percentage of the company. Took the company from $300,000 a year to $2 million the last year that I was there. Ended up basically saying that if I can make another company millions of dollars, why not start my own company? So I started my own safety company. Long story short, the guy that I originally was partners with sued me because I guess I wasn't allowed to do that part of my contract. I learned something new as an entrepreneur. For any of you guys that are complaining about being an employee, because there's a lot of cutthroat, a lot of people, you know, in the workplace that hurt you, just become an entrepreneur and just understand that you're in a whole different ball game, 10 times more aggressive. You have to constantly educate yourself and know what you're doing. So I learned something about lawsuits. I learned something about being in business and doing partnerships. So long story short, I ended up starting my own company on personal development and business coaching, and that's how we got OIM, which stands for Open Your Mind. Well, in the last 11 years as being an entrepreneur, I started to put together things that I thought what made me successful as an entrepreneur, and what most entrepreneurs that I meet, since I do a lot of trainings, I do a lot of coaching, I notice a lot of entrepreneurs don't have a clue where to start. So I created this audio series so I had the ability to impact more people than just the people that I have in Chicago, since OIM is based out of Chicago and we do tour the United States every once in a while to talk to other entrepreneurs. But for the most part, if you wanted to train with us directly, you have to come to Chicago. So I created this audio series for you, so you have the ability to still educate and learn from our experience and learn from our professionalism and learn from our expertise so that you can become a successful entrepreneur. But here's the thing I know is that 99% of entrepreneurs never get rich, only 1% do. That's why we created a movement called the 1%ers. I know that most entrepreneurs only make about $40,000 a year. That's it. I was making that as a grocery manager at 21 years old. So I started to say, wow, I thought, and most of you guys probably thought, every entrepreneur is rich. And that's probably the reason why you became an entrepreneur, not so that you can work in your business, but so that you can spend most of your time working on your business and be able to travel, take vacations, buy the car that you want, buy the house that you want, be able to travel with your family, be able to spend more time and do pretty much nothing. And everybody thinks as an entrepreneur that you just sit on the beach, you drink margaritas, and everything's just going to happen for you. But unfortunately, as I've been coaching and training entrepreneurs for the last 4 years, I've learned that that's not true. I learned that most entrepreneurs are barely making it. I learned that most entrepreneurs don't ever get rich. And the reason why is because of some basic things that they don't teach you. Because as an entrepreneur, from what I've heard, is that it's the loneliest person on the earth. And the reason why, because when you have questions, who do you go to? Now, for some of you guys that have read every book in the world, every self-help book, and you're still not rich, you know, I read Think and Grow Rich, but I was already rich before I read it, so it's kind of like I did it backwards. But if I read Think and Grow Rich, and I read a book by Napoleon Hill called Laws of Success, that is the only material, besides 10 other books, that actually help you become a successful entrepreneur. So I said, I'm going to basically take everything I've learned, all my failures and all my successes, put it on an audio series so that you guys can learn from it. On this audio, on this video, you're not going to get it all, but I'm definitely going to give you the basics, or at least one little snippet, or whatever you want to call it, a little bit of each audio, because it's a 12-disc program, right? It actually goes for $4.97. We sold it at $4.97. We went to a convention. People told us that we should sell it for $9.97. That's right, $1,000. And if I did sell it for that, it'd still be worth it. But obviously, since I did this audio series for a reason, not to get rich off the audio series, but just to create awareness and to help the entrepreneur that's struggling, I'm going to give you guys a discount at the end of this video. So keep listening, pay attention. This discount and this offer is only available to you after you listen to this, because we'll change it, we'll move it up. But for you guys that are taking action, here's how it breaks down. There's 14 laws that you have to learn. So if you don't have a notebook and paper, pause the video and wait and get your notebook and pen, because I'm going to give you tons of content in the next 5 to 10 minutes. The first thing that I've learned about entrepreneurs is that they don't even have a definite desire. And what I mean by that is that they start off with a definite desire, But eventually, because of the people they hang around with, because they don't have success right away out the gate, they give up on the dream, they give up on the desire that they had originally, and they become comfortable. In most cases, they just shut the business down altogether and just say, forget it. I see a lot of this with network marketers. Say, yes, I want to be an entrepreneur. Hate my job. Good start. Unfortunately, most network marketers fail, about 99%, so it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be. So what happens is, because they don't have an actual purpose, a definite desire, that's number one, then they just give up. And the reason why most give up is because of number two. Number two is belief. You know, most of us grew up not successful, not rich. If you were rich, you wouldn't even need to be an entrepreneur, because you probably would just take over a family business. But for most of us, we grew up with employees, we grew up with people that work for a living, so when you told them that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, they told you that you were a straight moron. I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to that. But what I like to say is that we were trained on our belief systems, and I call it BS, belief systems. Basically teaching me what I should know and what I shouldn't know. And if I want to be successful, why would I listen to people that are not successful, have never been successful, and have spent their whole life not attaining success? So why would I listen to them? I don't follow parked cars. I only follow people that are doing something, and I always tend to hang around with people that are doing better than me, because if not, then guess what? I become the 5 people I associate with. So if 5 of my friends are broke, I'm probably the 6th broke person. Anybody can relate to that? So here's what happens. They have the definite desire, they lose faith, belief, and they give up. And they throw in the towel, and they just wait to die, wait to expire. We call these people the walking dead. They're zombies. Oh, they're living. They're walking around. They're going to the mall. They drive around, but they have no soul. They have no passion. They have no belief system anymore. They've given up because the world has smacked them and told them, you don't deserve to be successful. But adversity causes some people to break and others to break records, which we'll talk a little bit about in this series. The next thing that I want to definitely drill home, the most powerful asset that you guys have is your association. I mean, I think that the reason why I've seen more entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, people that have made it and then have failed, because of who they associate with. Even if you become successful and you keep hanging around with the same people you did before, guess what's going to happen? Eventually they'll bring you back down. You know, it's funny that when people win the lotto, they go broke in the first year because association. As soon as they make that money, every family member that is in the woodwork, even family they didn't even know existed, comes out of everywhere. Hey, I'm your cousin from this person's mother's brother's uncle, and I need a loan. Yeah, you got millions of dollars, you can handle it. Every time I'd hang around with my friends, because they're broke, eventually, during my process of being an entrepreneur, they brought me back down. I think the most success I ever had was living in Texas and living in Minnesota, away from family and friends, and not moving back to Chicago. I think moving to Chicago kind of brought me down a little bit, so I had to bring myself up. Here's an actual fact. If a professional basketball player, like let's say Michael Jordan, starts playing with average people, he starts to downplay his game because he feels guilty, he feels bad that he can pretty much blow them out the water on the court. So if you start playing with people that are basically not on your level, you start to you start to down your game. That's the same thing in life. If you hang around with people that don't really want to go anywhere, guess what? It's okay for you not to go anywhere because they're not going anywhere. So if anything you take from this audio series, I'm telling you guys this, association is the most powerful of all of them, because who you hang around with decides who you are and who's your future. And the way I look at it, I mean, think of it like this. If you have children, or if you don't have children, or if you plan on having children, the most powerful thing that you're going to try to influence on them is not to associate with bad people. But as an adult, or even as a young adult, you hang around with bad people, you hang around with idiots, so follow your own advice. Hang around with people that are successful. Hang around with people that stretch you, that challenge you. Hang around with people that are doing better than you, because guess what? You might feel dumb hanging around with them in the beginning, but you learn from them and you catch their success. Catch it like a cold. All right? So the next thing is number 4 is vision. Vision, what I mean, when I talked about vision, I meant, entrepreneurs are visionaries, right? Entrepreneurs don't understand normal. They're abnormal, above normal. They don't understand what most people do. I mean, for me as an entrepreneur, and me being a 1%er and creating this series, The Weapons of Mass Production, and training entrepreneurs, I mean, the way I think is completely different than what other people think, and the vision that I have is too big for other people to understand. If you guys know who Helen Keller is, she's blind, but she said the sad thing is people that have vision or have sight but no vision. You know what I'm saying? Very powerful, because for most of us, we think too small. We aim too low and hit rather than aim too high and miss. Our visions are small, or maybe they started off big, but eventually hang around with the wrong people, eventually things don't go the way that you want it to, you give up on that vision. Here's the most powerful tool is that you guys need to know that if you're creating an organization, in the beginning it's your vision. The power comes from getting other people to see your vision and believe in your vision and actually share your vision. That's where the power comes from. I don't care if you're a network marketer, small business owner, or startup. You have to have a vision. Even if you don't have a vision or if you've been comfortable, start over, create a new vision statement. I remember sitting with this entrepreneur that prints cards for a living, and I told him, you need to create a vision statement. He's like, I have a vision statement. Well, then have you shared it with your team? I have not. I said, well, then how are they supposed to get motivated about where you're going with this thing if you haven't even shared with them? And he said, that makes sense. And he shared it with them, and they got excited, and they got passionate, which is my next point, number 5, passion. You know, people tend to attract themselves or are attracted to passionate people. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is that when you meet a person that has passion, two things happen. Either you feel uncomfortable because you think it's fake, like I did when I first met people that are passionate. Or the second thing is, man, why can't I be like that guy or be like that woman? Or be like that couple that have so much passion, they're so excited about life, they know where they're going, they have so much drive, nobody can stop them, nobody can make them angry, nobody can make them depressed because they know where they're going. They have a vision and they have passion to back it up. Now, if some of you guys are listening to this audio, if you don't know what passion is, it's basically, passion is living life with a purpose, with a reason, you know, having something in life. Like, I hate that entrepreneurs get taken advantage of. As I started to hang around with other entrepreneurs, which I never did in the beginning, I just built my business, I started to realize that most entrepreneurs are not doing much. Most entrepreneurs are broke, and most entrepreneurs are being taken advantage of. So I had a passion for starting a company called OIM, standing for Open Your Mind, and creating a university for entrepreneurs. That's my passion. And the thing is, if you're ever going to be successful and ever going to build any kind of organization, which goes into my next point, you have to have passion. People without passion, nobody wants to hang around with those people. You know, and if you want to know who those people are, just look at your family, look at your parents maybe. They have no passion. They kind of just live. They kind of just work. They kind of just pay the bills. They don't have really anywhere they're going. They're just waiting to die. All right, the next thing is leadership. You know, John Maxwell said everything rises and falls on leadership, and I believe this to a full extent. It's helped me in my life. I mean, most of my life as an entrepreneur, I spent my time learning how to be a more powerful and a stronger leader. And I spent most of my energy and time trying to educate myself on how I can become a leader, how I can lead by example. And you know what the hard part about being a leader is that you have to change. And nobody wants to do that, because being a leader means you have to be an example to follow. That means in your health, on your relationships. That means in your finances. That means the way that you live life, the way that you talk. This is all leadership traits. I mean, even your language can tell me from the beginning if you're a leader or not, because you use loser language like can't, try, wish, hope. You know, people don't want to hang around people that might make things happen. They want to follow people that are going somewhere and that already have made a decision, and they're not waiting for anybody. That's leading by example. And the thing is, if you want to ever have a group of people follow you, you better have passion, going back to number 5. Because number 6, when I talk about leadership, families rise and fall in leadership. Your church rises and falls in leadership. Look at your church. Maybe it's not doing as well. Your company, your organization, the people you're following. You know, and here's one of the things I know. Leadership is taken, it's not given. Right? Nobody waits around. Nobody gets handed the leadership baton. You just have to lead, whether you're told to do it or not. If you have children, they're following your lead. What kind of example are they following? You know, if you have a team of people that work for you, or you're a network marketer, what are they following your lead? Are you whining and complaining all the time? Are you stressed out because nobody calls you back and does your follow-ups? Are you complaining because you don't have enough team members? I mean, what? You're the leader. You decide whether people are going forward, or they're stopping, or they're going backwards, because you're the leader. The next thing I want to talk about is a team. Understand that the only successful people in the world have a team behind them. Now, they might not talk about them all the time. They might not have them sitting in every picture, but trust me when I say any successful man or woman in business as an entrepreneur has a strong team behind them. You know, me as an entrepreneur building OIM, I've went through a couple of teams, and some of you guys might be experiencing that, going through a couple of different teams. You thought this was the team, and then they didn't do it. You thought this was the dream team, they didn't do it. But once you find great team members, and you're able to, the ability to build a team, keep that team, motivate the team, inspire them, and keep them focused, because the acronym for team is together everyone achieves more. Now, everything I've talked about to this point, guys, understand these are all discs. Definite desires, disc 1. Disc 2 is belief. 3, association, vision. passion, leadership. So if you got anything just from me talking a little bit about leadership or team or the things I've mentioned, just imagine what this audio series will definitely teach you as an entrepreneur, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I have so much more to offer to you, but I wanted to at least give you a head start. And I got sick of teaching this to entrepreneurs because I had to do it over and over again. So I said, why don't I leverage my time and stop being an idiot, put it on CDs, give it to them when they become a member, so then they can listen to it and understand where I come from. The ones that don't listen to them are the ones that are not really desire to be successful. But build a team, attract a team, talk to your team. But here's how you build a strong team. You worry about what they want. Don't worry about what you want. Your job is to get them what they want, and as a result, they will help you get what you want, because that's how you build powerful and strong teams. And I've had experience with building teams. I've had experience messing it up. Okay, so I understand that I've lost good teams because of me. The next thing is, it's another leadership trait, but it's also something that defines you as a person, and I can know if you're weak or not, because do you inspect what you expect, right? Number 8, inspect what you expect. What that means is, if I set an expectation for people around me, family members, life, wife, children, kids, team, business, if I have an expectation and those people don't reach that expectation or don't meet the expectation or don't even show that they're trying to do anything on the expectation, here's what happens. I inspect. I call it check. You know, I used to tell my team players, my people I used to build sales teams with in the safety business, I used to say, hey guys, here's the deal. We're playing chess, not checkers, right? Chess means that we're constantly checking our people, constantly inspecting what we expect. Because here's what happens. If you don't do this, you lose respect. And when you do this and you inspect what you expect, then automatically you get respect. I'm telling you guys this, and I know we're doing a lot of specting going on. Inspect what you expect gets respect. But the point I'm trying to make is that you kind of stand your ground. You let people around you know, here's what I stand for, here's what I don't want. One of the things that me and my team used to joke about is that, you know, I don't want to attract weak people. I want to attract strong people. So I used to always say, and we still said that, I said it yesterday, is that I tame lions, I don't herd sheep. I don't want sheeple. I want people that are strong, that are hard to lead. I want people that are pain, because that's how you build powerful winning teams. You don't want people that just do whatever you say. They're weak. You want them, but you want to also set expectations with your people and inspect what you expect, okay? The next thing is number 9, focus. Acronym for focus is follow one course until successful. As an entrepreneur, as a one percenter, as a person in business, a network marketer, here's what happens. You lose focus because you know where you're going, you knew what you wanted to start off with, and you're like that guy at the gym that sits in the sauna thinking he's losing weight, but you're also even worse. You're like the guy that starts at the gym on January 1st, and by February 1st, he's gone. Because he knew where he started, he knew what he wanted to start with, but he lost focus. People kept inviting him to dinner. People kept telling, hey, they have a discount on wings on Wednesdays. People started telling him, you know, getting in the way, getting him to help focus. It started getting cold in the morning all of a sudden. See, that has a lot to do with going back to association. But follow one course to successful means that, you know, 1 month at a time if you want to do it. Plan out what you're going to do this month. I'm going to get 10 new clients, 10 new customers, 20 new customers, 100 new customers. I'm going to talk to 5 people. Whatever your goal is, whatever your expectation is, focus on that only and don't sway it. And if it doesn't work, then you can change it, but you never change the desire, you only change the plan. All right, the next one is setbacks. All right, I used to love saying this, how I came up with the name, The Comeback Coach. If you guys go look me up on Facebook, I'm under The Comeback Coach. Oh, there's another one. Nobody listens to him. But the comeback coach, I said, you know, a setback is a setup for a comeback. And adversity causes some people to break and others to break records. My favorite quote in the world by Charles Swindoll, it's a huge quote, but I'll just use one, is that, you know, 10% of life, or you know, most people, 10% of life is not what happens to you, it's 90% how you respond. So 10% of life is what happens to you, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. And the thing is, 90% is how you respond. You know, not react, because I know in Charles Swindoll's quote, he talks about reacting. I'm talking about responding. Everything that happens in my life for a reason. If everything happens for a reason, then why do I freak out when it happens? Because it was supposed to happen. The only question I should ask myself is, why did it happen? To understand its real purpose. Everything happens for a reason, and sometimes setbacks is kind of a way of life telling you you're going the wrong way. Sometimes when things don't go right, it's kind of saying to you that's not supposed to happen. But for some of us, we're so stubborn that we just keep going anyways, or we complain, or we whine, or we freak out, or we stress, whatever. But the bottom line is this, is that understand that part of being successful is having setbacks. Not everything's going to go beautiful. That's why most people have a job for a living, because if everything was perfect, more people would be entrepreneurs, because as an entrepreneur, you're constantly solving problems, putting out fires, and basically dealing with challenges. But that's the most exciting part about being an entrepreneur, because your life is never boring. You can look at it as stress, or you can look at it as just another challenge that you can overcome, so it can make you a more powerful leader. The next one is talking about discipline. You know, discipline, the definition of discipline is the individual is able to motivate themselves and hold themselves accountable. The hardest part about being an entrepreneur or successful or a one percenter is basically being able to discipline yourself, that you will not allow certain things to get in the way, mess up your time, mess up what your focus is, ruin your vision, you know, not having you stick with your definite desire. And discipline means that if it's important to you, it's scheduled, means that no matter what happens, if your goal is to make $50,000 this year, $100,000 this year, $1 million this year, multi-millions of dollars a year, the bottom line is discipline is what's going to get you there. Meaning that no matter what happens, you're staying focused and you're staying disciplined on that. That's the definite desire. Nobody's going to take that away from you. So you're going to go forward whether nobody likes it or not, and everybody's going to get out of your way, because when you come, you're coming with a purpose, and you have discipline, and you do not let anybody sway you away from that. Okay? Understand. The next one is emotional intelligence. Kind of goes back with the setbacks, but I've learned a lot about entrepreneurs. The reason why most people are not entrepreneurs is because they lack the ability and they lack the master of emotional intelligence, meaning that as soon as things go wrong, they get overwhelmed, they stress out. And guess what happens when things go wrong and you stress out and you freak out? More things go wrong. You ever notice that? More things continue to just spiral out of control because you have no discipline, you have no emotional intelligence, you fly off the handle, and basically what that means is that you can't be an entrepreneur. You're definitely not a one percenter, because when things go wrong, you react rather than respond. You have no emotional intelligence. People are able to get you pissed off easily. People are able to sway you off your track. People are able to get you angry. If you hate somebody right now, you have no emotional intelligence. I can tell you that right now. I don't hate anybody. I said that there's no such thing as hate, only envy. People don't hate me, they only envy me because they can't do what I do. They can't be disciplined the way I do. They can't get their message out there like I do. They can't constantly create a following like I do. But everything I'm teaching you on this series is all about how I've done it. You know, everything I'm talking about right now is exactly how I became a successful entrepreneur, because I master each one of these skills. And if you have purchased this audio set, if you're going to purchase the audio set, the bottom line is you're going to listen to this more than once. Okay, emotional intelligence. Next one is serve others. I love about entrepreneurs and network marketers and any kind of business owner is that they're constantly talking about how I can make more money, how I can get more customers. Well, that's very easy. You just learn how to serve others. You know, the whole thing that you don't realize as an entrepreneur is that we solve problems. Whatever product or service you offer, you basically serve others. You're solving their problem. Understanding that fact rather than just getting customers and getting them to buy right there on the spot, that's the reason why you're having no success as an entrepreneur or a business owner, because you don't understand that your job is to serve others. If your job is, if you're a coach, your job is to coach your people. If you sell health and wellness, your job is to help people become more health aware and basically create awareness so that they would want to buy your products and service, because your job is to educate them first so that you can serve them. When you educate them first and you teach them why they should be doing whatever problem you solve or what kind of problem they have, and you master the skill of articulating the problem, then trust me when I say they'll throw money at you to solve the problem. You got to get better at articulating the problem, because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you serve others. You know, Zig Ziglar said you can only get where you want if you help enough people get what they want. But you have to help everybody get what they want first before you can get what you want. And that doesn't just mean serving others by working with your team or people. That means your customers, right? Customers are good for business. I don't know if you guys knew that. But bottom line is, if you become a successful entrepreneur, if you are a successful entrepreneur, or you're lacking to go to that next level, is because you have to focus on your ability to solve problems and serve others, right? And the next one and the last one is invest in yourself. You know, most entrepreneurs don't invest money in their personal development. You know, I've spent my life from the time I was 22 till now I'm going to be 32. That sucks. That's 10 years. I have a PhD in personal growth and development in business because I've studied it. I didn't go to a college because they don't have it there. That's why I created OIM University, because we have a university for entrepreneurs. You can come out and take any course you want, everything from sales to marketing to recruiting to team building. I mean, you name it, how to create websites, how to use social media marketing, you name it, we can teach it to you, but it all starts somewhere. So invest in yourself. This program sells for $4.97 easily. I've sold it for $4.97. People told me I should sell it for $9.97. If you're watching this video, odds are you're either watching it for the first time, or you've already have watched other videos and you haven't made a decision. So at this time and this point only, you can get this program for only $97. That means it's less than $8 a CD. That's less than a McDonald's meal supersize, because I know how some of you guys still haven't got that health thing figured out. When you invest in yourself, you automatically guarantee yourself for success. I educate myself consistently so that I can't get taken advantage of, because ignorance is expensive. If you think education is expensive, you think $97 is expensive, try ignorance. I'm pretty sure you guys have spent tons of money on mistakes that you've made. I've seen entrepreneurs do everything from bad marketing campaigns, buying the wrong program, just all kinds of insane things that they do because they're so desperate to succeed that everything sounds great and they're willing to buy anything. But unfortunately, for the most part, they don't get anywhere because they don't understand the philosophy and the mindset of what it takes to be a one percenter. They don't understand the weapons of mass production. They don't understand these 14 laws. And when you understand them and master them, you will be successful automatically, and nobody can take it away from you because you have made the decision to invest in yourself. And if you can't afford $97, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, and maybe you're in the wrong business. So if you have not done so yet, add to cart. Go to 14weapons.com/TY. If you haven't got to that page, 14weapons.com/TY. That's for thank you, because we know you're going to invest in the program. I will send you an autographed copy of it, and I would love to do a follow-up and for you guys to reach out to me by phone or email. I'll make sure in the letter that when you get the products and services and when you get the audio series, I will give you the ability to reach out to me and follow up with me and talk to me personally, because I want to know what you think about the program, and I also want to see how it's changed your life. Other than that, guys, this is Joe Cross, CEO and founder of OM International, also the leader of the One Percenters. This is Joe Cross, the author of Weapons of Mass Production. Get it now for $97, or wait till we put it back up at $4.97. And you guys, I'll see you at the top.